20 years ago, one Connecticut man took off. Did you just tap my shoe?
It was an accident.
Did you tap my shoe while we're doing a shoe story?
Yeah.
A foot story. It's so funny.
I'm just moving my feet around. I guess I'm very conscious of my shoes right now.
20 years ago, this gentleman took his shoes off and he never looked back.
Yes, from managing snowy New England winters to avoiding sharp objects to everyday activities. How does he do it?
We're joined by Joseph Deruvo Jr. Joe, we want to welcome you to the show. There he is, barefoot and all.
This is because you don't go anywhere not barefoot, right, Joseph?
Yes, by and large, yeah.
By and large.
Well, listen, I mean, number one, it's not that extraordinary of a story. I mean,
I think it's extraordinary.
I think the New York Times disagrees with you.
Right.
It's blown up a little bit. But no, out of necessity, I don't wear shoes. But when I go to the gym, every day. I used to work there. I didn't wear shoes when I worked there, but when I go and work out, I have like Vibram 5-finger
yes,
shoes.
I know
those like barefoot shoes.
Yeah, and they're like gloves. They're like gloves. And so I'll wear those only because for the clients that don't know me, they'll be at the desk, every 10 minutes complaining. And,
well, isn't that the case everywhere you go, though? In a supermarket, in a restaurant, in a department store, you're walking in barefoot. It's just not the norm.
It's not the norm. And the only reason I'm here, the only reason I ever agreed to the story was really just the idea that it's an accommodation I make. It's not something that I'm advocating for everyone.
Everybody, right.
And it's just the realization that I had to do it because of my bunions.
You had started with bunions. Let's start there. You just started, like, you were going to get surgery, and then found out you were allergic to the surgery.
I'm allergic to metal, so they couldn't put the plates in my body. My body would reject them. And so surgery was no longer an option. So going barefoot just became an accommodation to that fact. And everyone throughout their life is going to have to make some kind of accommodation. Glasses, hearing aids, a walker, or a cane.
But shoes, that's a big one.
Well, it's what I had to do, but all I'm asking for people is to make room for other people that have to make accommodations likewise, even if it makes you uncomfortable.
Right.
Well, I think that's interesting because you said, I want to ask you about walking in cold weather because I can't even do it with 3 pairs of socks and boots.
But you say it's better to walk in cold than heat, right? Or no?
I find cold is easier for me to navigate than
So you'll walk on ice barefoot and snow and everything.
Yeah, listen, your body accommodates. And so when there's sensory feedback from the feet to the brain, the heart pumps and you get blood flow down to those extremities. When you're wrapped up, you wake up in the morning and your shoulder is stiff, you haven't been moving, there's no kind of fluid, there's no lubrication, and it takes a while. So when the body is feeling the different surfaces and the different temperatures, the blood is getting pumped there because it's aware, oh, I have to send blood down there.
Okay, so, but you say people are less accommodating. You can figure out the terrain. You walked 17,000 steps through dirty New York City recently. That was okay?
That was fine. Yeah, people don't bother you too much in New York City.
Yeah, they don't. They just assume, whatever.
But I mean, riding on Metro North, some guy came up to me and he was like, keep up the good work.
Keep up the good work.
And I was like, he's in his business suit and all. He goes, yeah.
Let's get the puns out of the way.
All the puns.
Your favorite chef is the barefoot contestant.
Sure, yeah.
Your favorite fictional character, Paul Bunyan.
That's a funny one.
That's a good one, right? I appreciate that. You have a lot of soul.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
That's 3.
All those things are true.
Okay. Your wife,
yes.
You've been married a long time, you have children.
Yep.
And, I mean, if I just do something a little off, my children will be upset. So you go everywhere barefoot, and your wife is okay with it. Like, how does your family respond when you first said to your wife, "I'm not wearing shoes anymore"?
Listen, you can be crazy, but if you can't maintain loving relationships, you've gone too far.
Right.
And thank God we are able to maintain those loving relationships, and it keeps things just on a functional level, on a functional side.
But she wears shoes.
She wears shoes.
Yeah, but she's a preschool teacher. And of course. So, I mean, from the get-go, I knew I needed someone with a lot of patience.
Let me hold your feet to the fire. If you walked into a restaurant and they demanded that you put shoes on, what would you do? Would you leave the restaurant, or did you have a pair of sandals?
I mean, sometimes we're left. I have sensory issues, so people commenting, being in a restaurant, being in a supermarket, it is already a stress level for me. I mean, I don't go just to relax at a restaurant. I'm a little bit on edge. So going into a place that's already kind of pushing all my buttons, and then to have to wear shoes, which literally is a calming influence, not wearing shoes is calming. So I have to put on shoes. I'm in a bad environment for me. So my inclination is, if I can get away with it, I'd rather go in without shoes because I'm already knowing I'm going into a tough environment.
Right.
Okay, so if we're going with friends, I have those 5 fingers in my bag, and push comes to shove, I'll put them on because I'm being loving and responsible to our friends.
You give a little, you take a little.
That's fine. But once we get to the table, I'm taking them off.
And your favorite movie isn't Tootsie, it's Footsie.
It's Barefoot in the Park.
Barefoot in the Park. Thank you very much. Just want to make sure.
Get those all in.
We got them all in.
But you know what? You look extremely fit. You're also a Pilates instructor. I guess Pilates. From the, I know that some people who are trainers and whatnot, they actually say it's better for us to be barefoot more. I mean, there's even a trend of earthing, like that we get some grounding when we're,
There's all those things, listen, teaching Pilates, the history of it is training boxers. Your feet engagement is very important when you're throwing a punch. You want to be stable, you want to be grounded.
Yep.
So we do a lot of work with that. I never assume anyone should just kind of throw off their shoes one day and go, oh, I'm not wearing shoes any longer. I mean, it's a discipline. It's a practice. So you come into it.
Well, we can't thank you enough for coming on the show.
Do you want to say goodbye to the famous feet, everybody? There's the feet.
There they are, the feet.
Oh, yeah, you've got some calluses. That's how you can not feel it. Okay.
I think this whole interview was callous.
Not at all.
Not at all. Very good. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
We love you.
Are your feet
Thank you.
ticklish?
To learn more, you can visit Barefoot Controlology.
BarefootControlology.com.
Yep.
There you go.
Stand tall, be strong, stay flexible.
All right.
So
Thanks.
actually,
we so appreciate you coming in.
But you know what? You're also going to be able to hear the TEDx talk, Moonshot, June 2nd, TEDx.com, and that's the TEDx events. Where's that going to be?
In the Philippines.
In the Philippines.
In the Philippines.
Okay.
Wow. God bless.
So this is. There you go.
All right.
Be you, everyone. Just be you.
Just be you.
Yes.